Good evening, Professor and classmates. I am Dennis Lester reporting from Atlanta, Georgia. Uh, as we take a look at the latest news in dealing with unethical leadership, uh, it starts from the top of the food chain. Basically, we have a organization of Congress that has a leader which is it's occurring in high places. The leadership is occurring unethical in high places. As in 2016, Scholar Lichman pretty much predicted that the current president of the United States will win the election, and but he also at the same time predicted that the current president of the United States would also become impeached in the next year, which reflects on what our top of the food chain leadership role has become. I mean, it shows how unethical are how that leadership role has how the standard has become for our new uh, president. Well, I want to say current president. But basically, Richmond also believed that the president's basic conduct and policies in 2019 would not change, and that the new wave of a house that was elected, the current house that was elected of Democrats, would also impeach the president based off of the Mueller investigation. So he also was correct on predicting that so far, as we see what's occurring in the current news today. Also, how do we get here? That's the biggest question. How do we get to having this kind of terrible? How did the seeing that this leadership affected the strategic planning in what's going on in the world today? Well, basically in 2017, the United States sanctioned the Russians for intervening in the United States election process as Congress investigated. Congress pretty much investigated the president being involved in with the Russian meddling due to the Mueller report that recently came out. Also, uh, so basically, President Trump is being investigated off of other incidents, not just this one. He's being investigated off of other incidents, which reflects his leadership. He's being investigated for allowing polluters to transport oil through the country, and so it was being sold illegally. And that was on a global market, which was which that affected our air and water, uh, which was also put at risk. So, and then in other news, Maxine Waters reported, uh, who's the leader of the Me Too movement, which came out and reported about the help push the impeachment process because the findings of the president having a bunch of sexual harassment allegations. So it's not just the Russia meddling. It's not just the illegal acts that the president approved of. It's also the illegal decisions that the president's made. It's also some of the past decisions with sexual harassment, which is a big thing happening now in the United States. So that pretty much explained about how important leadership is, how important leadership is in being in uh, helping an organization become successful. Your leaders have to be on point, and they have to be people that are well fit for that position, and that's something that we should take into consideration when we're trying to strategically plan to run our organization. Are we hiring the right people? Are we supporting the right people? Do we have the right people in charge? How would this affect the organization as a whole? What will become of the? These are things that has to be brainstormed and making sure that prior to us executing the, the strategic plan. Last but not least, the Mueller investigation pretty much exhibited the president's character. Shows how much it's pretty exposed the president's character. What kind of character is the president? The Mueller investigation. In the Mueller investigation, it brought out that 100 demonstrators gathered together in London to protest, to defend the Mueller investigation and protest the current president, ensuring that he don't push. And that was pretty much also in the report. I mean, they did that protest to make sure that he wouldn't interfere with the Mueller report and try to fire Robert Mueller. Also, and that's globally, on a global level. And also in the report, President Trump, it also came out that President Trump pushed out Jeff Sessions by causing him to resign because he didn't recuse himself from the Russia investigation. That also was the import. And that goes to show you how President Trump has a dictatorship type leadership character, and that's one of the characters. You have to take a look at stuff like that and say, are we the people? Should we put up with this kind of leadership, or should we come together to stop this kind of leadership? Because is this the kind of character the United States want to have in being the global leader of the whole world? And this is not the kind of leadership that we need to exhibit when we were supposed to be the best and the cream of the crop in the whole world. All right. Last but not least, I conclude this by saying this: due to the vast unethical acts, violations of the president, it's led to him being him having to be impeached, and this kind of leadership must be addressed, and it must be exposed. This kind of character must be exposed, and we must not agree with this. Is not the kind of leadership and character that we want to have to lead our organization. So we must always make sure we hire the top people and look into these things. I've come to the conclusion that you should never use your rank, grade, or position to obtain pleasure and profit off of it. The President of the United States is the highest ranking position in the world, and the office should not be compromised, regardless of how high or famous, how high or famous the person is, or who the person is, and how popular the person is. If this was another president, another person, and another race, or another culture or nationality, I do believe we would have witnessed or experienced a different outcome due to the Russian scandal. Hope you enjoyed my news reporting from Atlanta, Georgia. This is Dennis Lester. Thanks for listening to my news story.